considering that you're much younger, was it easy for you to understand his art and his representation of men?
Well, for me, Tom of Finland, to just to get an understanding of his meaning and of his artwork. I mean, I can appreciate the artwork itself without knowing anything about it. I mean, just his line and the way he makes leather shine. I don't think there's one other artist in the world who can do that. But I didn't know too much about the artist behind the artwork, about Tom or Touko, as he was called. So. Yeah, well, the more we worked with the film and the research before starting shooting, I just found out about his importance for people all over the world, and that was amazing. I mean, he grew up in a small city, or actually a small village in Finland, and then came to be this revolutionary gay icon who started a revolution actually.
Also, Finland at the time when he was growing up was in a very different historical moment,
Yeah.
very hard. Can you talk a little about his period?
Yeah.
When he was growing up, coming of age,
yeah, I mean,
that he was gay.
Yeah, I mean, Tom grew up in Finland, and he was born in 1920. So he himself says in an interview that it was a very conservative time. I mean, it was after the First World War, and but he said he had a really happy childhood. And I've been to his home where he grew up, and it's a beautiful place, and with all the sisters. And there's this great documentary about him from 1991 called Daddy and the Muscle Academy, where he talks about him being like 8, 9 years old and seeing these gorgeous lumberjacks and just like feeling that there's something with these men, and it's like just falling in love or the first sort of erotic feeling you get as very young. So he of course knew that. I think he knew. I mean, I must say I'm an expert on the movie, but I'm not an expert on Tom. So when I'm talking about Tom, I'm talking about the perspective from the movie a lot. Of course, I've done a lot of research, but still, so it was a hard time. I mean, homosexuality was illegal in Finland until 1971. So that's like yesterday, and he fought in the war and was a decorated officer. And after the war, his country didn't fight for him, and he had to sort of hide his true identity. He did it in a way which was really common in those days, at least in Finland, probably all over the world. That you just had to live this double life. So. Yeah, it's amazing that he had the courage to just and the vision with these drawings and to get them out in the world. I think that's amazing.
I think it's wonderful that finally he has received the recognition that he deserves as an artist,
Yeah.
as a revolutionary, as a gay man coming out in an environment that was very harsh.
Yeah.
And were all those qualities interested you? Playing this, in a way, he's heroic.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, Tom's life, as the screenwriter Aleksi Bardi said when we were in Berlinale just to sort of launch the movie, he said that he's like a gay James Bond. I mean, like a real hero, and that's the amazing thing with him, that I don't know if in the beginning he probably just drew these pictures for himself and his friends, but then again to sort of get them out in the world, and he was a really particular with his art. I mean, he worked in an ad agency for a long time on the commercial side, and his vision and his lines is there's not one like him, and I think he got the recognition too late, probably in the world. I think for him coming to LA was a big thing. I mean, just to see that there's people that really appreciates his art. And as the president of Tom of Finland Foundation, Dirk Denner, told me that the first time when Tom got here, he took him to a bar, and the line just grew and grew with men just coming to say thank you for showing me that I'm not alone. And I think that must have felt like, I don't know. So he became the icon. He probably didn't know of the reality he just flew into. So So yeah, I I would have wished for him that he could, in some way, see how he's now. I mean, how the world considered him now. He's in Finland. He never got the recognition while he was alive. Not that much. He got one award, and but as you know, the family didn't know about him. The close relatives didn't know about that he was this huge gay icon, this huge artist in the world, and like MoMA in New York has his drawings. So, I mean, it's amazing.
I think it's wonderful the way he breaks the rules and brings erotism into characters that are not supposed to be erotic.
Exactly. Yeah.
Soldiers, police, firemen.
Yeah.
Like I'm gay, and when I saw Tom of Finland, I thought, oh my God, I want to have sex with a cop or with a fireman.
Exactly.
Super sexy.
Yeah.
Can you comment a little about the liberation of the concept of erotism for human beings?
Yeah, I mean, the 40s, 50s, there were still discussions about sex, like there's the male, there's the female, and homosexual was like they were discussing about the third gender. So and often considered sort of weak and a bit feminine. And what he did, he just like he just changed. He was a game changer, just like making these hyper masculine guys. And I don't know where it came from and where the vision came from. And that's actually a question I would have for him if I just had a possibility to speak to him. And yeah, I mean, just his influence on pop culture, and just look at Village People or Madonna or Freddie Mercury. I mean, you can see, of course, there were things happening in pop culture, and he picked up on it, and he made it his own, and yeah, it's a mystery. Where did these visions come from? I mean, I don't know so much about the world history and how it was in the U.S. in the 20s to 50s, but I know that Finland wasn't any like a liberal country, so now it is more and more. I mean, we're taking baby steps, but we're moving in the right direction, and so we just got the same-sex marriage law this spring. It's a bit late, but then again, it's happening. So. We were, with the movie, we were doing a campaign with Amnesty International that love is a human right, and I think Tom is sort of a symbol for that in Finland right now, and that feels great.
What was the biggest satisfaction that you got from this great opportunity? I mean, it's a beautiful film. You get to, you know, the character has many layers.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if it was a real person, I'm sure. You're not in, so you had to work hard to.
Yeah, I did a lot.
Know who he was.
Yeah, I did a lot of research before shooting, and met his friends and met up with the guys from the Tom of Finland Foundation, and they were so open with everything. We just got to see the archives, and I got a lot of discussions about him and how he was. So, I think for me, just to get the chance to do this role and to depict this man who is truly really important for so many people, and the story. I mean, when we were shooting, the political situation in the world looked a bit different. So we weren't making a political movie. But then again, the world changed, and when we opened up in February, it was a completely different sort of mindset in the world. Not that people themselves have changed, but the governments are changing, and there are some movements trying to turn back the time, and it's not going to happen, and that's
like
why
the neo-Nazis.
the neo-Nazis, yeah, Trump,
the
and
new Prime Minister of Austria.
Yeah, and I mean
Broll in Spain.
yeah, and just look at the things happening in Chechnya and Russia. I was in St. Petersburg in Russia just a few weeks ago for a screening there, and it's terrible with the violence and the bashing that's increasing all the time. And the thing is, what's also happening here in the U.S. is that when the government sort of gives those thoughts right to exist, it empowers the man on the street or the woman on the street to sort of bring out and say whatever. And I think that's the really harsh part, because we can't go back there. We've seen how it was. I mean, we've seen the 40s, we've seen the 50s, and therefore I think the police raids in the movie, and just the fact that you have to censor yourself. It's really important message in this time too, and we didn't know it. As Tom himself said, that I wasn't doing political art, I was doing dirty little pictures. So we were doing a biopic on an artist, and not thinking about this being a political agenda movie. But maybe today it is more so.
How happy are you with the way the film has been received, and
Yeah.
been touring the world?
Yeah, I've been touring a lot with the movie, and of course it's a wonderful chance, and just to get to different countries and hear how there's a lot of humor in Tom's work, and I hope we also have it in the movie, or at least but people laugh at different things in different countries, and maybe one thing that combines everybody is there are two scenes I think that's the motorcycle club without motorcycles. That's one thing that people tend to laugh at. And then there's another scene that tends to move people, is the curtain scene, when which for us was a really important scene, just living the double life and living in the shadows, and then getting married in a curtain shop. I mean, I define it as an earthquake for Tom. It was an inner earthquake in the movie. It was for me a really important sort of place in the movie to see that it fits, and so people are quite alike.
I want to say thank you for the film and congratulations, because we have advanced, but there are many countries in the world in which gay people they can get killed.
Yeah, I know.
Saudi Arabia, Uganda. Now the U.S. just signed an agreement, only Saudi Arabia and the U.S. an agreement in which it's not illegal put in jail gay people just like that. I read it.
Oh, really?
And I was hallucinating.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you, and because in a way you're helping people to come out of the closet. I came out of the closet when I was very young, so I didn't suffer ulcers or maladies or.
Yeah.
So, but there are many people in the world who have to hide their identity or their sexual orientation, and I think that the movie really helps. As you said, I'm not alone. We have the strength, and we can have the power.
Yeah, I hope so.
Do you feel like carrying a flag?
Well, maybe in one way, but then again, I represent the movie. I don't try to be Tom. I don't think I am him. I'm just representing the story of him, and I think the story is the important thing. And I just read on Twitter, there was a guy from Sweden, a well-known journalist, who put it like the coming out of closet. He said that this day he has lived half of his life in a closet, so he had lived half a life, and after that a full life. And I think that was a really nice way to put it, or to make people understand what it is. So if it helps people, I'm really happy.
And how do you feel? How do you see your future in the industry, and what brought you into acting?
Well, I was 8 years old when I knew I'm going to be an actor. There's a local newspaper. I think my mother still has it. And when there's this just a small interview. So what are you going to do when you grow up? And I'm one of the kids, and I'm saying I'm going to be a chef at a restaurant, or then I'm going to be an actor. As 15-year-old, I went to work in a restaurant. I did the dishes and helped a bit in the kitchen. It was really hot and really hard work, so I decided to become an actor instead. And wherever it takes me, I mean, I'm sort of quite happy where I am now. I mean, just sitting here in LA and talking to you, and everything that's happening with the film, and that we're running for the Oscars. So it's great.
One more question.
Okay.
What's the importance of the Oscar campaign, and how involved are you going to be?
Well, I'll do anything for the movie. I mean, I'm really proud of the movie, and of course it was a great honor. I actually never thought that I sort of never thought about the thing, and then I just read it in Twitter that we got it. So that was a real honor, and I think also for the legacy of Tom, I think it's really great that we're the official submission of the nation. So that sort of shows his importance, and I hope we make it all the way, and we're going to work on that.
I want you to walk by the Dolby Theater with the tuxedo.
Yeah.
That's part of the best foreign language film.
Well, if I get invited, I'll be there.